Eat your balls, boys. Gotta eat your balls.
Healthiest base Bitcoiner, a man's man. He gave it all up. He jumped in a truck. When he smashes the ball, you better duck. Truth be told, he'll eat a testy raw. That's coming up and so much more. This man is an optimized machine living the Bitcoin dream. Sun, surf, steak, and sex are some of the seeds he spread. Paul, it's an honor, it's a pleasure. Welcome and g'day. Your mission is to seek waves and play. So let's kick it off right away. Testicles, and I've got a video here to be able to bring up and share.
Breakfast, a little frozen raw testicle.
Much better frozen.
Eat that. A little honey sugar.
Can wash anything down with honey for sure.
It's actually easier to eat the testicle frozen. This is my first time doing it. Because it's just kind of crunchy and goes down instead of like the squiggly texture. So
Eat your balls, boys. Gotta eat your balls.
So you're starting off your day with balls for breakfast. I've not eaten balls. And can you dive in to why you're eating balls for us, please, Paul?
You think about it, our ancestors would have eaten the entirety of the animal, right? And it kind of makes sense that maybe a liver would help the liver, and maybe the balls would help the balls, while the science isn't quite there yet. Intuitively, that kind of makes sense. And that, you know, there is some testosterone in those bull testicles. Whether or not it's bioavailable, I don't know, but there's got to be some unique nutrition in there, and I'm here for it. So I crush some nuts every once in a while.
Yeah. After you ate those frozen testicles, did you feel like you could conquer the world? Did you feel like a warrior and like your day was just set? Like if you start your day off eating frozen testicles, it's like, I can do anything. Like, let's go.
No, there is a thing with that. Like doing hard stuff early does set your day off well. Like whether that's a workout or eating some bull testicles, which is not quite normal. But I'm telling you, raw or frozen is much better than raw. You can bite them and they slide right back down.
Are you still eating balls? And have you eaten the raw testicles? Or you just
now that I've frozen them, you know, I can't really go back to raw because I don't like the squiggly as much. But I'll still do shooters. We got a weird cult out here, not just Bitcoin maxis. We got a weird organ eating, raw meat eating cult going on down here as well. So
we'll have to dive into that. We'll dive into these peculiar health habits that seem to be a feature of especially Bitcoin Twitter as well. But at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, you're living in Bitcoin jungle. It looks like you're pretty much on a Bitcoin standard. Can you dive into what it's like living in Costa Rica and using Bitcoin more as a payment instead of where I am? I use it as an investment for the number go up technology. But it looks like you're more using it for the revolution that Bitcoin actually is.
Yeah, right? Like, this is so cool to kind of play out my own individual thesis, right? Like, if I want Bitcoin to work as money, it's got to be, you got to spend it, spread sats around. So it's really cool to spend it every day. Like, literally, it's not, someone commented on my last video because we always feature Estella. Like, oh, look at this Bitcoin propaganda. There's only one merchant vendor. But no, it's crazy to see light bulbs going off in locals' heads, local or expats' heads as well that are down here seeing this. And whoever I bring down here, one of the first things I do is buy them coffee with Bitcoin. And it's just like these light bulbs go off. But besides the whole Bitcoin thing, living in Costa Rica is, well, I guess is maybe kind of my dream. At least one of the visions I've had, right, is waking up and going into the water and surfing right away in warm water with cool people. And I have that here. And
yeah. So I'll link your YouTube because there's like some insanely long waves that you've ridden, like well over a minute. It was like a minute.
I think it was 1 minute 52 seconds. So I guess the next one is 2 minutes is my goal.
Wow. What's that like for so long? Because even a short wave when you're surfing feels sort of like eternity when you're in that flow state. But to have a surf for nearly 2 minutes, that must be so surreal. It wasn't surreal. Bro.
I'm telling you what, it's a freaking leg burner. My goodness. Like, my legs were so fried. That's at Pavones. That's a really famous wave. I think it was a minute 52 seconds. Maybe it was 47. I don't know. But yeah, it's Pavones. We caught it on one of the best days, and some people were saying 15 years, and I milked the heck out of that one wave. But it was completely, all the sections were connecting all the way down to the bay, and it's unreal. but yeah, leg burner for sure. Tons of flow, and it's kind of fun because you got to weave through people to stay on that wave because it's going to be so crowded. But yeah, it's surfing. It's like my life. It's what I, it's why I've traveled the world and why I'm going to Bali next month, along to go to a Bitcoin conference. But that's one of the things I want to see happen is I want to be able to surf the world on a Bitcoin standard, and that's what I'm doing here in Costa Rica on the daily.
Yep. And your fiance, your wife, you've got a really good video on YouTube, and you ask her, what's it like dating a surfer? And she's like, yeah, it's really good at the start, but now I spend a lot of time like just looking out at the surf and stuff. But you also said she's a really good surfer herself. How's that dynamic work? Because you're probably up at the crack of dawn, whether it's 3, 4, 5 a.m., so that you're getting the best swell. Is that changing her routine, and is it putting pressure on the relationship, or
back and forth? I mean, obviously I come back all tan and ripped, so like she loves that, but no. The waves have been small this last week, and she's caught the best waves of her life. So I could see it in her eyes. Wow. She's got the real like stoke now for surfing. When it's big, we're not going to be surfing in the same spots, but also like, those first few hours of the day in the morning are pretty precious. So most of the mornings we do go down to the beach together. She'll surf if it's smaller, and if it's bigger, she'll walk around. So I think it's honestly, it's great because you get that morning light and connect with nature in the morning. So it's a great way to start the day, and it's been a great thing for a relationship, I think, as well, for the most part. Yeah, because sometimes I'm like, we gotta go, man, we gotta go, and waves are firing.
Sorry, Paul, there's this funny video you put out, and I think you're talking about the day before. You're like, we're going to get up at 3 a.m. and then we're going to get there. And then the next day you're filming and you're like, it's light and we're not at the beach. Like, come on, guys, let's go. We need to get out there. We're wasting time here.
That morning stress.
I do have... While I bring up another video, I believe it's very important that we get the sun in our eyes, especially when it goes from below the horizon to that sort of first 15 minutes going along, even just looking directly into it. I'm not advising anyone to do this, consult a medical professional, whatever it is you need to do. Sunlight in our eyes is so important for me. But what do you think it is? Like, you obviously spend a lot of time with natural light going into your eyes, especially early in the morning. And, you spend pretty much every video I see, you're half naked as well. So you're soaking up all those rays. How important is it that you're grounded, you're connected, you're getting that light, the vitamin D, you're spending time in the salt water, the salt air on the beach?
Yeah, I don't really even think I fully understand. I mean, I know I don't fully understand, but I do know that when I don't do it, like, just don't feel the same. And then the science, I feel like a lot of people are, and even the science community is just waking up to the importance of maybe returning to nature and connecting with the earth, whether that's through bare feet or going and sitting in the ocean, the salt water. Like, I have no idea what that does to my body every day. Like, what minerals I'm absorbing through my skin, or even drinking a little bit of the ocean water, like what that's actually doing. And even chasing waves it's maybe I've equated it, this might not make sense, to maybe taking a cold shower, because like the cold shower will wake you up and it gets like your adrenaline going a little bit, and same with the waves. When you're like chasing a wave, then you get that little hit, like when you catch the wave and you're up and you're so who knows what like all that's doing with my brain chemicals, but those brain chemicals, especially in the morning, are important.
When I saw this video, ladies and gentlemen, I sent a voicemail, I believe, straight away to Paul. I'm like, so awkward reaching out to someone, but bro, you look dope. What you're doing is so important. So I want to play this video.
Bitcoin Jungle just teamed up with Bull Bitcoin, and now I'm able to pay for gas KYC free with Bitcoin. So I'm going to go see if this guy needs some gas. No, voy a pagar eso. Ya va a pagar vida. Pura vida.
Pura vida. Gracias.
We go to Simpay Mobile. We sell Bitcoin. ¿Cuánto es? Pura vida. Enter the number. Done. Send payment. And then I'm pretty sure you got to go inside and get a receipt. Yep, so I went through. Now I just have to get this receipt. That is some financial wizardry right here.
Oh,
Is that on the Lightning Network? Can you explain what that app is that you're using? Because it's not the traditional way of using Bitcoin to be able to pay for things. There's a couple of extra steps in there, and how's that integrated into the local economy?
Crazy. I'm so like, this is what we've been waiting for. We've been kind of kept this on the down low for a while, and now it's like starting to work. But all you do is you can, yeah, it's not, we sell Bitcoin and then it gets into their like Venmo. I don't know what you have in Australia, but it's just a bank account related to a phone number. And everywhere in Costa Rica, I'm not kidding, everywhere, even on the side of the roads, will have a SIN pay. I don't know if it's theirs or if it's like one of their friends with, a bank account, and they can just, so instead of them receiving Bitcoin, you can just go ahead and pay like from your Bitcoin account, and then it gets transverted in whatever, what's the word? Into colones, and then transformed into colones, and then you could pay. So you can, and there's no KYC. Like you could just get any phone chip, and download Bitcoin Jungle, and then put some Bitcoin in there, and boom, you can live on a completely Bitcoin standard. Yeah. But what's cool about this is a touch point, because Ticos will start seeing this, and also Ticos can now instantly cash out the Bitcoin if they can't hold it for some reason. Now, and then eventually, after touching it so much and maybe seeing some number go up sometimes, or seeing their friends use it, they're just going to become more accustomed to using it. Because, like, I go to the barber to like get my beard trimmed a little bit when Laura gets mad at me, and then the first thing they say is, "Well, how can I make this into cash or colones?" And now that there's that, you can pay them in the Bitcoin and then show them how to sell it. So, and who knows if they're going to sell it? So it's awesome, man.
It looks like you're always sort of in the flow state, and then you're like a highly disciplined person, and like have a very hard work objective, but you're very flexible in your life. How important do you think that is for probably men in particular, us being the male species having this chat, and it's a little bit hard to speak to the female audience, but what do you think that's like? Is it important, or it's all good if we just sit there and play video games all day and just do what is easy?
I actually was thinking about a lot. I write sometimes too. I got a little blog where I just kind of puke my thoughts out, and I feel like that's helpful. And I feel like on the road to figuring yourself out, it's like all about entertaining yourself, but in a productive manner. And I'm kind of working with that thought more and more. And like the whole discipline equals freedom thing really rings true to me, because if I'm not disciplined, if I'm learning like how to treat myself better and I don't implement it, then I'll just like feel bad and I'll be in like a mental prison. So like when I learn something and I have to put it into practice in order for my conscience to like, tell me I'm doing the right thing and make me feel good, so I can give the earth as much as I can give it. I don't know if that answers your question, but there's being disciplined definitely has been a major part of my life. And maybe not even just disciplined. It's like really trying to narrow down like what I want and how I want to spend my time, and then kind of being strict and saying no to a lot of things as well, if I know that's not going to align with what I want.
Yeah. So from the outside of me looking in, it looks like maybe even surf comes before Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's probably a tool to be able to surf. What else have you narrowed your life down to? Like, what are the essentials for
I think it was actually Breedlove that kind of put this challenge out there. Is like, what would you do with your life if you were a billionaire? But not just, how would you spend every hour of your day? And when I was driving down here from the States, like, I think it's when I really listened to that, and just kind of some light bulbs went off. And I realized that really surfing, like, also the quote, what can you not stand living without? That double negative. So like, I can't stand when I'm not surfing. So I need to prioritize that in my life. And I wonder how often, like, the priorities get twisted around, because if you're not healthy, you can't give anything to the world too. So I don't know. I really thought about that, and surfing it really is a priority in my life. And I think it allows me to go back and give more to the world as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like not being healthy in the last week. Like I hurt my back pretty badly, and not being able to even do push-ups daily. Like I'd wake up and the second like I'd jump out of bed, I'd get to the hallway, which is about 3 meters away, and I'd do push-ups straight away. And not to be able to start my day like that every day and get those endorphins and that exercise, it leads to less motivation throughout the whole day. I'm less productive. I'm not following my true intention. It's harder to be able to go down to the beach. Like we'll go to the beach every single day. It's a
Nice.
couple of 100 meters away. And I haven't been able to do that. And for me, when I miss out on these things, life doesn't feel as bright, and I don't feel like I'm living in line with light and lightened, or, the word human, hue meaning light. So like we are light men. That's the way that I see who we are.
Yeah, so this was an adventure that we just got back from. You want the full story?
So what happened? Yes, please. It's obviously a billionaire's boat. I worked on boats for many years. You can see that's a very expensive boat. This guy's obviously very loaded, whoever owns that. How the hell did you end up there? And it sounds like you're on the boat for a couple of weeks.
We're on the boat for like 3 weeks. And so, we were talking before we started about just little bits of content, putting out content, right? And so the guy I work for, Paul Saladino, he puts out a lot of content every day. And one of the things that he put out touched this billionaire's life and helped him out. So he flew us out there to his yacht. And it was quite the experience. They're just roughing it in the jungle to being on a hyper luxury yacht. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
30 full-time, full staff, and any wish you had was a command. It was an absolute dream. And like we'd go to different islands in Greece every day. It was a lot of fun. Definitely cool to see that, get a little window into that world too, because I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's an insane life, and the amount of some people get jealous. For me, I find it inspiring because you can see that they've worked so hard, so focused, they've become so disciplined in that area. But you said your friend inspired this guy, or helped him out in some way. Is that in regards to like the carnivore diet, or in regards to health? Is that how he touched his life and that this experience came about, or is it something else that you can't potentially?
No, it was exactly that. Paul's very convicted about diet, and he's a living experiment with what he's doing. He practices what he preaches, and this guy kind of got whiff of it and started changing his diet around what Paul does, and he found a lot of benefits from that. And his way to thank us was actually, you kind of hear the whole story. This is so epic. He sent 2 people to come find us in the jungle, and these people found us and then told us about this, and then next thing you know, we're on a yacht. It was nuts.
That is so crazy. That's something out of
it
movie.
Was completely out of a
really
movie.
Like
the internet is so powerful. It's insane.
Yeah. Even just this conversation, like I saw that video of you paying for gas there, and that was so inspiring. I'm like, this guy is a bloody legend. Like I have to talk to him, and I send you a voicemail message, and then we're talking here. But for anyone out here, whatever it is that you want to do, if you can follow purpose, life is going to reward you here. There's one more video I want to bring up that's not Bitcoin related, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's so close to your life. And anyway, I'll bring it up and play it. I just thought this was a lovely thing. It's my wife's and my 3-year anniversary today, so I think this is fitting to bring this video up. Oh, why does it keep doing that? Here we go.
Yes. No, this almost makes me cry every time I watch it. It was the longest 3 minutes of my life on my knee. The editing does not show the 3 minutes, but the ring's a little snake because it reminded me of Costa Rica. A little diamond eyed. Thanks. Yeah, little leap of faith. Thanks, man. Yeah, yeah. So wait, before I tell the story of this,
Congratulations.
3 years. Thank you. 3 years of marriage. What do you got for me? I need some wisdom.
The biggest thing is communication. And I guess as sort of like a man's man, we are probably going to be very driven and very focused on certain things, maybe for yourself. If it's a perfect day and the water's, flat and the swells up, surfing is probably always going to be the number one thing on your mind, and maybe your wife has something going on. And being so single, narrowly focused can allow you to miss those subtleties maybe when they need you. And I'm so guilty of this. So just learning to slow down, pay attention, and realize there needs to be a little bit more give and take, because I'm so everything I do, I want to be able to do it to improve our lives together so we have more freedom and more flexibility. But that can come at the detriment of, like, I need to do this now. It needs to happen now. The surf's going to come back. There's going to be another flat day. So that's what I would say for everyone, is just slow down. I can't say that I'm very good at it. And then communication is the biggest thing. And flowers
They
are
work,
very,
man.
very important, and they can
Every time.
go a long way. They can go a real long way.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's dive a little bit into Bitcoin now, because we sort of touched on it. You're using Bitcoin more as a payment. I'm using it more for an investment. I pay my editor and stuff in Bitcoin, which is absolutely great. But I don't really want to spend. If I spend Bitcoin, I replace it as soon as I can, because I want that supply of that stack to be going up. But what do you see? Maybe like with the BlackRock ETF, is that going to help people where you are in the Bitcoin jungle with the number go up, or is that going to be a hindrance, or do all these things stack up and it just leads to better global Bitcoin adoption? What do you sort of see the state and the progress over the next couple of years? Obviously, we're coming up to the halving. How's that going to affect using Bitcoin instead of it as an asset, as a way to transact and live life?
I have no clue. But all I know is I like to use Bitcoin and I use it, and I've kind of let go of the immediate like spend, like, oh shit, I gotta buy it back. Like, I just kind of load up my Lightning wallets and go a little bit, and I don't feel like I'm going to regret it, because if we're so early that if Bitcoin halfway works, then we're going to be good, man. Like, there can maybe be a little bit of a scarcity mindset sometimes with Bitcoin and maybe Bitcoiners, and I've had that at sometimes, but I've kind of let go a little bit. And we've been helping these people stack since we're spending, Francis and I have been spending, like, since Bitcoin was 16,000 around here. It's just, so these people have experienced a little bit of number go up, and as much really number go up just creates that insane FOMO effect. Like, been through a couple bull markets now, and it's when everybody's going to want it. And I don't know, like, there hasn't been a raging bull since I've been here, or since Bitcoin jungles really existed, I don't think so. It's going to be definitely interesting. So I can't wait, because I think because now that all the tools are here, people are going to, like, be more ready to adopt it too, because there's all those touch points of all these other restaurants, all these vendors accepting all over the place. So that, I think there's going to be just a massive contagion effect, especially since they can just cash out little bits at a time if they need them too, to keep, fiat life, pay their own vendors and keep the shop afloat. But there's one restaurant that stacked the whole coin. So, like, that's legit. Yeah.
Wow.
And we told one restaurant,
that's
we
crazy.
told a restaurant owner that, like a newly orange pilled restaurant, and they're like, he was first asking about how to, cash out, or like just in case, and then he's like, wait, they stacked the whole coin? Holy, I'm going to save these things. These are mine. I want to keep up.
Yeah.
But
yeah. It's sort of like keeping up with the Joneses and stuff, but keeping up with the Joneses with the world's hardest form of money. Something that you said is Bitcoin is the most important asset for humanity. Why do you reckon that is? It's a pretty bold statement. It's something I believe in, but what's your thesis
Just
behind
saving
that?
money. And I totally buy into the high versus low time preference is almost like the root cause of all bad human decisions. And I
Yeah.
kind of just I buy into it. That's because of the money's flawed, and that's why maybe a lot of people are making those bad decisions because they don't know where to put their money. And maybe if you are thinking long term, you might start thinking long term about your health, and that's going to affect your decisions today. And why I think it'll make the world a better place is, there's a lot of talk about gentrification where I am, and especially as this whole digital nomad thing plays out, we're going everywhere at all the coolest places in the world, right? And
Yeah.
maybe if the money wasn't so broken, these people could see the light. Whereas I think, maybe lower class, working class people, whatever, they might not see a light or a way out. And I think Bitcoin gives a way out because you shouldn't need a doctor's master, whatever degree in finance to figure out how to save money, right? It should be easy. So I think the way that
Yeah.
change might affect people thinking long term with good money and maybe giving them like a light, hope. I buy it, man. I buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, so a question on that, because people should just be able to earn money and then be able to save it and for it to be able to appreciate over the long term.
mm-hmm.
Very, very often, I've given this book, The Bitcoin Standard, to so many people, and about 7 out of 10 people give it back and they're like, no, that's too intense. I can't read it. They're not willing to put in one book worth of work to be able to understand. So I found an easier, shorter book, Beers for Bitcoin. And I believe everyone, if they can read Beers for Bitcoin, they'll go into the Bitcoin Standard. But
I got to read that.
It's for me, it's a great book. Send us your address and I'll awesome, send you a copy. It's a nice signed copy as well from the author. So I'll awesome. Get that through to you. And for everyone watching, follow Paul and tag us both on Twitter and say I'd like Beers for Bitcoin. We'll give one of these books away awesome. as well to the audience because it's a good book. What I was getting at there is it takes probably about 100 hours to be able to understand Bitcoin as an asset. And then after 100 hours, I've put in thousands of hours and I'm still learning things more and more and more. And it can get very, very complicated. But how do you see it over there where they are using it as a medium of exchange? Are they getting it easier? Does it make more sense quicker to them because they're not using it as an investment per se? They're just using it as a medium of exchange?
Exactly that. It's in like the States, all the expats that come down here, they're Bitcoiners, pre-coiners, whatever, they understand something's wrong. They did something, they voted with their feet, they're going somewhere else. But a lot of them don't have Bitcoin and they're so averse to it because it's like, I have no idea. Or it just seems like this whole other world that they're afraid to dip their toes into. Whereas when you just accept Bitcoin as money, it's just light bulbs go off because maybe it is money. I think it's money. It can definitely serve as money. We've seen it in these down here be money. I buy coffee with it. Great. I feel like that just breaks down so many walls when you automatically just have skin in the game by accepting it as payment. And it is easier.
Cool. So this is going to sound ignorant. I've got Wallet of Satoshi on my phone. I think there's like 300 sats on there. Can I send Satoshis on the Lightning network from like Wallet of Satoshi to Bitcoin Jungle?
Yeah.
Are they interoperable?
So the cool thing about Bitcoin Jungle app is it has usernames. So I can the other day I rented, or actually, I got to pay Estella. I didn't have my phone. I went to the farmer's market after and I just got everybody's username and then just paid them through username. But Wallet of Satoshi, I just have to put a little invoice on my phone and you could scan it. You want to try it? Think that'll work through this?
Yeah, yeah. If you can do that, and then I'll zap you. And while we're talking about this, I've just signed up to Nosta as well, and people just keep sending me 21 sats. Like, it's crazy. I just get it, like, ping, 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 ping.
Yeah.
I've put up 3 posts, and I'm like, this is insane. Why is everyone not using Nosta if you're getting free Satoshis?
Have you seen the new, like, Zap spam? I haven't really read anybody talk about this, but people will, like, just send you, like, 1 or 2 Satoshis with, like, a website link to it. Have you seen that yet? No, it's so genius.
No, I have.
So yeah, you could just.
It is genius, but it could lead to a lot of ill intent. You know, if they put a phishing link or something in there, is also possible. I didn't mean to turn that dark straight away.
That's all right. We need those thoughts too.
Yeah. So if you can put it up on your screen.
My net.
There we go. All right. So I'm gonna hit send.
It hasn't confirmed. Hey, there it goes.
Fuck! Holy shit! That's so awesome, bro. That is so
cheap.
awesome.
You only gave me 2 kilometers.
That's right? So cool. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm going to sound like a douche not using Lightning before, but fuck, that was absolutely fucking awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I'm going to stack up on that, and then I'm just going to try use Lightning a whole lot more. Is the wallet of Satoshi like I'm ignorant? Is that worth using, or are there better Lightning wallets? You're using Bitcoin Jungle, but is that because of where you are?
Or? Wallets, but Wallet of Satoshi is a good, like, beginner one, I guess. But they're all pretty good. Phoenix is like you can actually have a seed on there, and it's like a real Lightning node, I think, or something. And you have to, like, load it with a little bit extra sats. Like, you need to at least start the channel with 10,000 sats. So maybe that's not a good one to onboard people, but something like Wallet of Satoshi is just super easy to onboard. Just like Bitcoin Jungle, it's super easy. There's no, like, minimum amount or max whatever to send, and you can send main chain and Lightning in Bitcoin Jungle. They're, like, interoperable. So it's just kind of easy to start. And when people do start actually accumulating a decent amount of Bitcoin, we go and talk to them about hardware wallets and self-custody and all that.
And how receptive are they to that? Does it make sense? Are they starting to get it? Say, like, a hardware wallet can be a couple of $100 US, and that could be like a couple of months worth of salary potentially where you're living and in some of the places you are. So are they receptive to getting hardware wallets and doing that, or they see it as a unnecessary expense, or they just are aware that's the price they need to pay to have their own?
I'm actually not sure. I haven't done it personally. I've gone, and I just know the guy who founded the app, who's incredible. What's going on down here is insane. It's probably one of the most orange-pilled places in the world. And even though we're neighbors with El Salvador, like, this place it's insane what's going on. And it's really because there's a really great human layer to Bitcoin here. There's a guy who made the app. He speaks English and Spanish. He looks the part and is close with the community. So there's, like, a layer of trust. And it's important to have that social layer of trust. And then more people are coming in. Like, there's, people from all over the world are kind of seeing the signal that we're spreading out and coming down here. And whether it's for vacation or there's been a couple new Bitcoiners that live here now. And it's really cool. We're just bootstrapping this little circular Bitcoin economy, if you want to call it that. But it's really cool to see.
And when you go into the markets, like, I've seen that you've paid with Lightning quite a lot. What percentage of people do you reckon are using Lightning at the moment?
Well, the markets are insane. I think the Dominical one, besides this super old man who's a legend because he sells meat too, besides him, I think the Domi market is 100%. Like, I can't even, see the sign everywhere. it's just kind of this contagion effect. It's very close, if not 100% there, especially now with the off ramp that the locals have. And the other market, Nuvita, is probably like 70%, 75, I'd venture to say. It's crazy, man. And not even that. Like, there's this one service that I order my raw dairy from sometimes, Market and More. They got a BTC Pay saver or BTC Pay server hooked up. I can just lightning over some sats and then deliver raw milk to my doorstep. It's so badass. It's so cool.
Yep.
And my butcher's orange pilled too. So
just to, yeah. We've got a butcher here, and I want to see if I can get them to orange pill as well. I just think I like slow and steady, because there's no one here really. Like I said, there's the fish and chip shop is accepted, and I'm not going to go to the fish and chip shop. Do it.
I'm going to send you an article, because I have this feeling when I spend Bitcoin where it's just right. It's almost like different. And these Bitcoiners come over and ask me, like, what's it like spending Bitcoin all the time? And that's what I said. It just feels good. And it's almost. Well, it's not only is it magic, but when you spend Bitcoin, you're just almost like showing the love, because this is the best money that's ever been created.
Yeah.
And you're giving your hard-earned sats for their product. Like, that is an ultimate signal of, like, this is, I think what you're making is important, and it's going to nourish me, or, give me something that I need. So it's like, I don't know, it feels good. And I'm going to show you, maybe we can link it in the show notes or whatever too, this article that Jack posted the other day on Noster, and he kind of, really he's put a lot of time into writing it, and I really was like, yeah, that's it right there, with what it feels like to spend Bitcoin and the signals that you send by spending it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Can you do me one more favor, Paul? I'm going to put you up full screen, and can you do another
invoice you ready?
21 sats with the QR code? I really want to get this to work.
Here's my Bitcoin Jungle wallet. I press receive. 21 sats done. Here's your QR code. Maybe I got too much light.
Maybe that's what's.
Let me lower my brightness. See if that works. Oh, there we go. That should work. Oh, no, too much. Did you get it?
Yes.
Or did it go too light?
Oh,
yes. Let's go.
Yes,
I got the
payment
green.
sent.
Can you see
awesome,
the green?
bro.
There it is.
Fuck. Yep. That is sick. That
Borderless,
is sick.
Baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just got bloody lightning orange pilled. That is fucking awesome. Let's fucking go. That is so cool. I'll be loading it up. I did try to be able to pay for beers for Bitcoin, but I couldn't get sats onto the Lightning Network with what I was using, but I'll make sure I sort that shit out today and just use it for as much as I can. Like, there's nothing here really to be able to do it, but maybe I go buy a fish burger.
I wonder if you could even use the Bitcoin Jungle app for fun. Maybe. Over there. Yeah, probably. I think you can, actually. Wonder. Yeah, I think the States are the only ones on an iPhone is where you cannot download it. But yeah.
Okay. I guess that's the only hindrance, is they may not allow you geolocation to be able to download the app.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try that. That's so cool, Paul. So what else is going on in your life? What's the next adventure? You're obviously a baseball fanatic as well. You're always smashing. You call them, it looks like you're smashing coconuts, but you call them something different? Or
yeah, you call
different?
I don't know why you call them peepas. They're just peepas. Coconuts. Yeah, peepas.
Peepas?
I don't know. I kind of just like having fun, and smashing coconuts is really fun. And it's kind of what I do now, I guess.
Yeah.
But actually, so when I came down here, I brought a bunch of baseball gear that was my whole mission for driving down here, was loading my truck up and going to Nicaragua and giving them baseball gear, because I had been a couple of times previously to deliver or to surf, and they play baseball, and I'm obsessed with baseball. And I was like, man, I wish I brought gear. They have nothing. And so I was like, I did it. I made a GoFundMe and drove down and delivered a bunch of baseball gear, and it was awesome. And they were so stoked. Like, I'd find kids on the side of the road, and one of them was playing with an orange. And I show up, it was like Santa Claus, gave him bats, balls, and gloves, and So cool.
Oh,
But anyways,
wow.
when I got to Costa Rica, I joined a team of all Nicaraguans living down here, and I was the only gringo, and that was so fun. I got them gear as well, but I'm washed up, but I miss it. And what's next for was your question was
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the States right now, go to Pacific Bitcoin, Indonesia Bitcoin, after Pacific Bitcoin, which is in LA,
Yeah.
and go to Bali, have some fun, surf, and think about Bitcoin and spread the signal that people care, because that's what's most important. I think is
Yeah.
if people stop caring, kind of lose hope in this thing and stop believing that it can work, it will stop working. So
Do you think that's a possibility that the propaganda machines just ramp up so much and people get distracted and they bring out CBDCs and they're like, hey, we don't need Bitcoin. You've got these digital payment rails now. These are the latest, the greatest thing. They won't talk about, obviously, the privacy concerns, the control concerns. So just be like, they may even say, hey, Bitcoin was great, but we've created a CBDC on the back of Bitcoin or whatever, or using blockchain technology. And then they use their propaganda machine, because they control the media, to be able to be like, this is the latest greatest. You don't need Bitcoin. Use this stuff. It's faster. It's cheaper. You can use it in the bank. It's legal tender. And then people, due to the propaganda, they stop caring about Bitcoin? Or do you think that signal now is so strong that it's
the
inevitable?
signal is definitely not strong enough. We need more people like us just
Yep.
talking about it. But also, the same time, I don't think they control the media anymore. They don't.
They
We
do.
got them, like as in just normal people.
Yeah. The last week's been a good
Yeah.
testament
So
to that.
we need. I think the way to get like there's this a core group of maxis, right? Like maybe that ideology won't go all the way into the mainstream, but I think freedom does, and we need to keep finding
Yeah.
influential people and orange pilling them and have them talk to their followers and keep the freaking propaganda alive on the other side. It's very important. I've only just recently really woken up to this by shit posting on Twitter these videos and seeing how much people love to see them. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's voice is very important. I was a closet maxi for a long time before I drove down here, and I also timed it out so I could be in El Salvador for the first Bitcoin conference there. And I didn't go to it. I just kind of
Yeah.
camped up
Wow.
in Bitcoin Beach. I was broke and just found Bitcoiners for the first time. I was like, why have I not talked to Bitcoiners ever in my life? So if you're a freaking closet maxi, go
Yeah.
and find a Bitcoin meetup yesterday and go say hi to these people, because they might just become your best friends. And it's just strengthening the network. The social layer is so important. And you need to keep the propaganda machine
Yeah.
going. Can't stop you don't shut up about it, because everybody's gonna be looking at you too in the next bull run too, if you had spoken up about it before.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel pretty passionate about that now, so I'm not gonna shut up. I'm gonna say yes to basically everything. Anybody that wants to talk about Bitcoin, I gotta kind of give my 2 cents, whatever that's worth. It doesn't really matter. Bitcoin doesn't care, but
Yeah.
it's something I truly believe will make the world a better place. So we almost have a duty to not shut up.
I think the deeper that we go down, and at least this is my experience, like the louder, the prouder I get. But it's become my purpose. And whether someone resonates with my content or not, somebody's going to resonate with one of the guests that I have. And if they don't resonate with Foss, they may resonate with you or Natalie Brunel or whoever it is. And we can give these people all these different touch points. And I guess the question is, for me, I can become quite toxic and have no patience for shitcoins. I went down that route. If people want to go gamble their life away and stuff, good luck. You can make money at casino, like that's all fucking good. Do it, whatever. It's your money, it's your choice. But that's not the revolution. The revolution's Bitcoin. Yeah. Do you think that message is good for some people to be able to do it, where they are like very toxic? Like there's people like Alex Fetsky, who a video will be coming out before this one that will be up on the channel. He's a very vocal, loud, toxic Bitcoin maximalist. Or you have people like Natalie Brunel, who are very chill, very grounded, who articulate very well. Anthony Pompilano back in the day has changed a little bit now, but Do you think that's helpful that we have all these different people that are all at different extremes, or should we all just be absolutely toxic, very loud, because we are fighting such a big propaganda machine?
I don't know. I think about this all the time. I have such an aversion to shitcoins now, and I've touched them too though. And it's funny. It's like when you have skin in the game, it clouds you, it clouds the vision, it clouds the freaking laser eyes, right? Like, so it's tough.
It's a fucking
it
mind
is.
virus,
And
bro.
you forget what's really important because number go up with your shitcoins, and you won too, right? But yeah, the Bitcoin is the revolution, and it's the only thing that's important. We got to fix the money. Then you can go talk about your projects that I don't know is just like intellectual masturbation or whatever, right? I just don't understand like how these things exist and why they're there. Like, and they're such a distraction, and frankly, they piss me off a lot because there's even a blockchain jungle conference coming to Costa Rica, and they want Bitcoin Jungle to be there. And of course, I think we have to be there, but we got to be very careful with how we represent ourselves there. And I think we have to be very fucking toxic, to be honest. And actually, Francis might go, and he's not the least toxic guy I know. I love it, and I have to think of Maxi, man. I had all my shit in BlockFi. So, yeah, at one point. And I got it out because of Maxi's. So, I have a friend, and I just tweeted this, that was like, well, finally my coins are going to be done from being locked in staking, and I want to move everything to Bitcoin. And that was because of me as a touch point. So, like, it's important to keep spouting this off, and the level of toxicity maybe can change depending on who you are and how it comes through you. We're all different. All are different, like, personalities and temperaments and whatnot. And I don't know. The way Svetsky puts it is absolutely beautiful coming out of him too. Like, so I love it. Yeah. I don't know where the line is, but also like I can't associate with these shitcoiners. Like when they reach out, like one just did today, and I'm like, actually, I don't even know how many live down here, and some of them don't see it though. So there's maybe an innocence to it, but it fundamentally like pisses me off. I don't know why. Maybe there's an ego thing attached to it, but yeah.
This morning I went live and talked about sort of what was going on, and I brought Ethereum into the conversation. I try not to talk about it, but the reason I brought Ethereum up today is because Vitalik Buterin had sent 600 ETH to an exchange like in the last 24 hours or something. But in the last 10 days, he'd sent $3.7 million of Ethereum to the exchange. Ethereum talks about being decentralized, this world computer. Like, it's fucking not. You have a leader, your leader's fucking Vitalik Buterin, who's some fucking kid in a unicorn
so
shirt.
Gross, man.
And like, it's fucked up, like absolutely fucked up. And people put their whole life savings in there. And then even JP Morgan, who's one of the biggest bag holders for Ethereum, is literally publicly saying they're disappointed in the merge, the Shanghai upgrade. And people still think Ethereum's a fucking good idea. Like, wake the fuck up, people. If you're holding Ethereum, like, okay, like maybe number goes up, but you are literally playing casino and there's no revolution there. It's not decentralized. They're not doing anything of importance. And then people come back, oh, they're building stuff and there's all this DeFi. All that DeFi, 99.999% of it's a scam. Maybe one or two good things come out of it. But if those things are of any value, they'll be implemented in Bitcoin. So they can fucking waste all their money and be Bitcoin's research and development team if they create any value there. But I don't think the value is there. They're just these small startups and they're there designed to take your Bitcoin away. If you want to play that game, it's a fucking mind virus. And by all means, your money, your choice. Do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. But don't mistake. If you make money in there, please put into the world's hardest asset. or just totally
Skip the
skip that
step.
fucking scam. You're going to be better
Skip
off.
the step. Like, you
Yeah,
just be in
just fucking
pace. Like,
skip it.
I mean, I don't know if you touched them, but I went down that route, and oh my god, I could have so much more Bitcoin.
Well, unfortunately, fortunately for me, it worked out really well, and I made, like, I turned a little bit into a lot, and then I put it all into
Nice.
Bitcoin, and just kept rinse and
But you don't
repeating.
sleep well.
And I don't know if that was. Say
I
again?
didn't sleep well when I was doing the gambling. Like,
No, you need to be so focused and in the weeds, and it's all market manipulation, it's all marketing, it's all propaganda, and so you're getting exposed to this stuff over and over and over and over and over again, and that's how they effectively market. So you buy into their bullshit, their narratives, but there's no substance, there's no value, but because you hear it so many times, you think whatever the fuck it is has any worth, and it doesn't, and then you believe their bullshit, and that really leads you away from truth. And like I was saying, it's designed to take your Bitcoin. It was lucky that even with that mindset, I knew when I had profits to put it back into Bitcoin, make profits, put them back into Bitcoin, and did well. But probably I would have been, I don't know. Unfortunately, it worked out, and I always kept putting it back into Bitcoin, encouraged people to do the same. But if you can just skip that step, do it. Otherwise, it's like trading. You need to become a full-time trader, and that's 4 years, and you're going to lose a couple of $100,000, and people do that for a career. That's fine, but that's not the revolution, and it is a waste of time for most people, and 99% of people are going to lose money. Public service.
Well said, sir.
It's not good. It's really, it's not good for the mind. It's like watching the mainstream media or the news, and talking about the mainstream news, media, freedom. Obviously, what's happening to Russell Brand in the last couple of days, what do you think sort of your thoughts are? It doesn't even necessarily need to be about Russell Brand, but just the control or the old, you said they're losing, but they are trying to control the narrative. How do you think this plays out over the next coming weeks, months, and years? Because they're playing a very long game.
Yeah, maybe, huh? It's so funny. Like, I guess because I hang out with Bitcoiners, man. Like, I just don't care. Like, you see right through it. And there's people that are building alternative systems, whether it's Nostr or, I mean, and I'm glad Twitter is, being free speech and encouraging, and just Elon's letting everybody say everything. I mean, it kind of pisses me off that you can't pay in Bitcoin for a blue check, or who knows, all that. But I don't really care because we're building an alternative system, and which I think is more aligned with truth. So I think hopefully truth wins over time, and if not, at least there'll be a couple of us buddies going and living in cool places like Bitcoin Jungle.
Yeah, I think truth always will prevail. And when I was talking to Nico Moran from Simply Bitcoin, he said, like, the more you go down the rabbit hole, the Bitcoin rabbit hole, the harder it is to talk to the average person, because they're just on a different wavelength. They don't understand. They're so caught up in that fiat matrix. Obviously, using like lightning, like magic, is a pretty easy way to be able to wake people up. But do you have other ways that you're orange pilling people, or do you have like a go-to? Like lately for me, it's talking about inflation is the easiest way here in Australia to be able to get people to realise that something's wrong and maybe they should study it. But what would you say, or they just see the payment technology? And
that's the best way, is actually exchanging it for goods and services. That's definitely the best way. But even so, like I said, I have some really close friends down here that are definite pre-corners, but they just don't touch it. There's not. I mean, there's got to be a core group of people that just become obsessed with this, like we have. For some reason, it's completely bitten us, becoming like intertwined with our life purpose. I mean, it has for me, and like you said, this is your contribution to Bitcoin, and it's become a purpose thing. I guess not everybody has to be like that, but for us whack jobs, like we gotta keep at it. I don't really have. I mean, I guess I say that these people they just make money. This paper I talk to, because I'm getting pretty good at orange pilling in Spanish, and I just say and then there's this other system where people can't control it. There's only going to be 21 million, and the number will go up eventually, or you're going to be able to buy more with it one day, maybe. And it's a good way to save money.
Yeah. One thing that I think about a lot is, say, where people are using it, like over where you are in Bitcoin jungle, and they're buying it now and they're receiving payments, and then say they receive like quite large payments at the all-time high, and then it comes down, we get a 50 or 70% drawdown. Do you think that's going to hinder their use going forward, or they're going to be like, okay, we've been warned about that, like you guys are educating them that it is volatile short term, but volatility and risk are totally separate? Or do you think this is going to be a bit of a hindrance short term?
I mean, there's no way around this whole volatility argument, but I mean, if you can write it down, you'll write it up probably one day too, and you'll earn it. But I mean, we pitch it more, or at least I pitch it more of like a savings thing. But to start, and it's going to hurt when the volatility happens. They're going to lose faith in Bitcoin, and they're going to like maybe be mad at us for some reason. But but like I don't really know how to talk about this. It's just kind of in with it, and we'll see. It's all learning.
So a couple of things I want to get onto, some of the personal challenges that you've done. I was like reading through, I'll link your Twitter below for everyone, but you just decided to do a marathon one day.
I broke up with the girl.
Why? Sounds pretty intense.
I did a marathon barefoot on Thanksgiving during COVID because it was like, this life's weird. I'm going to go make sure I can weather hard stuff. I don't know. Always respected people that can do hard things, and I wanted to make sure that I could too. So it's just a quick little mental test, and I think it's good to do that to yourself every once in a while. I've done a lot of experiments with like fasting or dieting, just to train my discipline muscles. I feel like it's good to have those discipline muscles trained every once in a while, just to know you could do hard things.
There's this saying, and I love it and I live by it, and I was telling my 7-year-old nephew, I said, I won't say his name, but if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. And I believe that is so true. What other hard things are you doing in your life now to make your life easier later?
That's a good question. Just keeping up with the routines, and I'm working hard right now, like spending more time than I'd like to, like working and in front of screens. But I think it's starting to compound, and socials are kind of growing, and it's kind of like an asset to have. And so that's kind of been building those, and it's not hard. It's not easy to stay consistent. So I'm working on staying consistent, and just because compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, and this stuff will compound eventually. And I'm kind of trusting that. And just keeping up, just making 95% of my decisions are disciplined and like what I eat. Nothing, I'm not on like anything too strict right now or doing like any challenges. I love doing challenges. When I do challenges, I tell the internet. And when I tell the internet something, they're not going to trust you if you don't complete it. So you have to keep that. I love telling the internet I'm going to do something because I always do it.
When you post your next challenge, I might join you on it, whatever it is. So
let's do it. Awesome.
Yeah. I love it. Just because of my back, it may be a couple of weeks. So just give me a couple of weeks and then I'm fucking ready.
Awesome.
Ready to go, bro. Ready to go. So like ages ago, a couple of years ago, when you took all those baseball bats and stuff, you did a GoFundMe. I know you're not doing anything at the moment, but do you have any future projections or any ideas where you want to be able to do something like that and maybe be able to take more baseball gear? Because just before you answer that question, when you were going to do it, to be able to ship that stuff was going to cost you $15,000. So you just like, I'll just chuck it in the back of a truck, then I'm going to go down there and hand out a whole lot of bats and do that, which was a great thing. Do you have anything like that may be coming up that people can follow you and be ready and excited for and maybe help you help the world
thanks for asking.
Your mission?
We did just filmed a while ago a documentary for Bitcoin Jungle. Pretty simple, but it should look good. I'm really excited to release that pretty soon. And that's maybe going to be like a little proof of concept to go to other places in the world and tell stories about Bitcoin, because very convinced, I want to play a role in this whole thing, and the propaganda machine needs to turn. So I want to put some good
Yeah.
Bitcoin propaganda out there, and showcase it as, important and maybe the key to
Yeah.
making a better world. So I sure believe it is.
100%. Anything I can do to be able to support you. Couple of questions for you. Do you have any books, Bitcoin related or not, that you'd recommend for people, or they can be articles, but that have been pivotal, or they've opened up something within your mind or your life that the audience should read, listen to, explore?
I love this little book called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, or whatever it is. It's just these little nugs, just quick hits, just like little bits of wisdom that he passes on about a lot of things in life. Also, I've been kind of influenced by Derek Sivers and his little pop philosophy. He's the guy that said it, and this is kind of what helped me formulate what I want to do while I'm here, is what can you not stand not doing? And that's why I kind of started with surfing. And that's like really a priority in my life. Like,
parting inspirational message for people to be able to live their life purpose, their mission, and make the world a better place.
I'm spamming the internet on all platforms with the name of Paul in the Jungle now, except for on Twitter. Somebody already had that. So Paul in the Jungle on Instagram and YouTube, and even the Devil TikTok, and then Noster as well as my username. And some parting advice is, that what can you not stand not doing? Like, I prioritize some fun and flow in your life. Like, why does that have to be some reward at all times? Like, yeah, maybe make it a reward, but also I think it needs to be priority to enjoy the earth. This is heaven on earth, right? So yeah, prioritize that fun.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Yeah. I think that's so special. And just wrap up, heaven on earth. For me, I believe in God, G-O-D, which is the great outdoors.
I've never heard that. I dig it.
Think,
connect with nature.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? Yeah, so connect with nature, get grounded. Paul, you're a fucking legend. Everyone, all his links are below. Make sure you share this video, subscribe.